Hello, everyone, and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Collection Mania Monday, and today we are going to take a look at these wonderful pencils. They are the Blick Studio, and they do come in a 72 set in a tin. However, there's a bunch of colors that are not in the set that you have to buy separately. Most of the colors, for example, blush pink, pink rose, crimson lake, peach, salmon pink, and light pink are not in the set. They are bought separately, as well as some of your grays, like the cool gray 3, warm grays, that sort of thing, are also not in the set. So I did end up having to purchase those separately. And with those, it comes out to be, hold on a sec. $91 colored pencils in the Blick Studio. So they have a really good range of colors with those. Without those, it's very light on the pinks. I think there's 2 or 3 actual pinks in the regular set, which is a little bit odd. I didn't have too much trouble with them. I did have trouble sharpening one pencil out of the entire 72 set, and ended up with a very short little blue, the ice blue. They are named and numbered, which is wonderful. They do have, let's grab one that has a little bit more ability to show you here. I'm going to switch you over to the other camera so you can see. So they have the Winsor Violet here on the barrel of the pencil, as well as the Blick Studio, and then they've got the name again at the end. So if once you're sharpening, you get down to this point, you can still see what color that is, which is kind of cool. All right, so it does have a metallic. Switch it back over. There we go. So you can see more of them. It does have metallic gold. So it does have some metallic colors in it. And I do believe it has a metallic silver as well, which is right here, up here. This camera is very hard to see all of them, but that's a different set altogether. I do have them in a pencil bag, of course. My pencil bags do hold 300 colored pencils, so I have them mixed in with other sets. But they are a really nice pencil. I haven't got to use them a whole lot yet, so we will be testing them out on our little sheet, of course. We did the Black Widows, and then we're going to do the Blick Studios here. So I'm just going to move these over so that I can give you a better view of them actually being used. So we're going to need some greens, we're going to need some colors for the house and for the grass. So I'm going to grab a few of these. And of course you can see my keyboard, which is, not something you want to look at. There we go. Okay, so we've got ultramarine light, and we're going to grab some greens. So we want a really dark green. And there we go, dark green. And I think, pretty sure there was a light green, yes. And there's the light green. So we've got dark green, we've got a light green, and I think we're going to use May green as well for the grass. And then colors for the house, I want to do terracotta, which is in the browns up here. They also have a barcode on them with some information here as well. So you can definitely buy these at the Blick's warehouse or the Blick's store and still be able to get the same pencils, which is really kind of cool. The other one I'm going to use is brown, and then we're going to go into some of the yellowy colors for the walls of the house and a red for the door. Then we're going to use canary yellow and I think light, yeah, use canary yellow and light yellow for the house. And then we're going to use cherry red and carmine for the door. So those are the colors we're going to use. That's a good range of colors for such a small area. And now we need a little bit of gray for the smoke. So we're going to use cool gray number 3, I think, for the smoke, with a cool gray number 5 for the outline. So those are the ones we're going to use. All right. So I'm just going to switch these over to the other side here so I can put you on the close-up camera onto that little area so you can see trees. I'm just going to move you along here, so don't want to turn you too much because I don't want you to. There we go. That's better. So let's give this a start. Of course, we're going to use our dark green for the shadow areas. So it does go down quite nice. It's going to turn that light on for me so I can see what I'm doing. When I swatched these and did a bit of a color with them for the swatch, they were really, really nice. So I was pleasantly surprised on how well they went down with them being a store brand. But the Blick Studio seemed to be one of the better store brands I've found so far. So I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I know it's Thanksgiving week, so everybody's so busy. And with the way that the virus is moving and everything else, I hope you're all staying home and staying safe. I know it's hard not to be able to have all your family over and everything else, but it's just too dangerous, in my opinion. Some people are just not healthy enough to be exposed to this virus without it really doing damage to them. My parents being one of those, sets of people, and So I just stay home and keep them safe. Now I'm going to transfer over to the light green. I'm going to sharpen it because it's not sharp. And it does sharpen really nice, holds a great point, if you can see that. They are quite soft, so you're not having to press very hard to get a good color. And they blend into the other colors quite nicely, so which is really good. Now, I don't know if all of you saw the Saturday color along. So for any of you that have not seen it, we have a challenge going on right now to get the channel up over 100 members, 100 subscribers. And once that does happen, I am going to open at some point soon a Facebook page for the channel, so that all of my subscribers as well as myself have a safe place to go and show your work and just have some fun. We're also planning a Christmas party, and my husband is printing a couple of the prizes right now, so y'all know what those are. And we're going to have a couple of really good prize packs. So if you do decide that you want to help me out with that and the shipping for that, you can do so by clicking on the PayPal button on my opening page of my channel. There's some little buttons there. One says PayPal and one says Amazon. And the PayPal one goes directly to my donation area for the channel in my PayPal account. And the Amazon one goes directly to my Amazon wish list. So if you want to send me something off my wish list, of course I will not say no, because I just love getting presents. And if you want to do a wonderful little random act of kindness to me and send me something, I will definitely review that on the website, or on the channel, I should say, as well as give a shout out and a thanks to my random act of kindness fairy that does that. So leave a message in the package if you want it shouted out on public on who it was. And if you don't, just leave it as an anonymous gift, as a random act of kindness fairy gift. So that is the light green, and it doesn't seem to be doing too bad. This is on a 65-pound cardstock, as it was with all the other pencils, of course, because it's the same page. Now I'm just going the opposite direction that I was going before, just to fill in that white spot a little bit, because I am still seeing a bit of white spot. I'm not pressing really hard on the pencil to begin with, so I'm not getting a really deep color all at once. Just a light coloring. I'm just going to take a bit of this dark green again and just going to give it a couple more little bits of shadowing. Just because I know trees are not all one color. They've got so many different colors in them. They've got dark greens and light greens and some yellows. And if you look at an evergreen tree, they've even got some grays and blues. So, alrighty. And need this one for little stem stalks or trunks. There we go. Now we're going to take our May green. Nope, that's light green. This one's May green. And we're just going to color the grass a little bit. Just to give it a bit of ground coverage there. And I'm just doing this very roughly, just to give it that look of green there. I'm going to go into that a little bit with the brown, because grass is never always consistent. Sometimes there's a bit of brown in it. All right, now we're going to take our terracotta, and we're just going to do the roof line. This is a very brown terracotta. It's not an orange terracotta like I was expecting. And of course, I didn't look at my color swatch sheet before I chose the color, but it's fine. I'll just go over it with a bit of red, because that's what I was expecting, was a reddy brown color. So as you can see, the red is blending into that quite nicely and giving me a different color, which is what I wanted. I'm just doing, tight little circles, not pressing overly hard, just hard enough to give that look. So I'm going to actually do the outline of the door where the shadow is for the door frame, because I'm going to do that in this dark red color here. There we go. So we're going to finish off the door with this lighter red. I'm just going to blend that all together. If you find that your color isn't as dark as you'd like it to be in certain areas, there's a couple of different things you can do. The first one, of course, is to grab your darker pencil. Another thing that you can do is grab a black and just give that shadow area just a touch of black so it comes down to where you want it to be. Then you can either go over that if it's too dark with your lighter color again, just to blend that in, or you can leave it alone. And I'm just going to leave it alone, I think. But I am going to fill in the rest of that red, because I have some white spot, which is fine because I do have a blender pencil that I can use. Now I'm just going to do the same thing with the roof line. Use the really dark yellow on the roof line there. And I'll go around the window here, under this window, and under this window. Now this one here has the tree blocking the light, so we're just going to bring that shadow in a little bit on that side. Then you take your lighter yellow and you just blend it into it. Just like that. Then we're going to take our dark color here. We're just going to put that shadow in. Then we're going to take our dark red. For that. And then I'm going to sharpen these to do the smoke. And then we got to do the windows, and then that's pretty much it. Oops, sorry. Just hit the... So I'm just doing the outer edges in this darker gray. And because I do want these to be darker, I am putting a little bit of pressure on the pencil just to make sure that that color is not going to get taken over by the lighter color. So now we're just going to use the lighter color and fill it in. See, I want it to blend with the lighter color, but I don't want it to take over it. And there we go. Now for our blue for our windows. Now, because these are really, really tiny, I really need a very, very, very sharp pencil for it. So I'm going to make sure that this has a really, 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 really good point, just so that we can get right up tight to the edge here. Because that's all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put just enough in there on the edges to pull it down with the blender pencil. Oops, sorry. And I do have a Blick Studio blender pencil here. So let's see how well this does. So it pulls it quite well. I had people tell me that the Blick Studio blender pencil wasn't all that great, but it seems to do that blue quite well. Let's try it on the yellow. I'm not pressing hard at all, just hard enough that it moves that color around. Now it seems to have maybe dulled the color a little bit, which is abnormal for a blender pencil, but just going to use it on the roof line. But it seems to have definitely gotten rid of all the white spot. Same with on the grass. Seems to have done quite well there. So it's not blending the greens very well here on the tree. It's not pulling that dark green down any or up. but it is blending that white spot out, which means that it is moving the pencil, the pigment around. It's just not overly aggressive doing it, especially with the dark colors by the looks of it. But, everybody has their own preferences with tools. Some people really, really prefer to use, say, the Prisma blender or the Lyra blender or the Caran d'Ache blender. So everybody has their own preferences when it comes to blenders and that sort of thing. I like to try them all. Because, sometimes each set of pencils has its own blender with the right mixture as the pencils themselves. So, and sometimes it doesn't. And this blender did pretty good on the lighter colors. It's not moving the darker colors as much as it did the lighter colors, but it did cover all of that white spot, which is pretty much what I usually intend on doing with the blenders, is just moving that pigment around a little bit to get any white spot that I've missed. Okay. Now I think we're just gonna do this really, really gently, and then I'll try to blend it and see if I can get a sky out of it. Normally I would do this with a lighter color, but like I said, I'm just doing it lightly to see what I can get with the blender pencil for a sky. And I'm just going really, really lightly. I'm not worried about how much white spot there is or anything else. I don't want it to be really, really dark. And I'm just trying to fill in the holes, basically. All right, now let's take that blender pencil and see how well this works. Now I am pressing quite hard on the blender pencil to move that pigment around because I didn't put a lot of pigment everywhere. And it seems to be moving it around where I put it, so that's good. Not getting a huge amount of pigment in the areas that I didn't color, but in the areas that I did color, it is moving that pigment into all the white spot and filling that in, so that's good. All right. I think on our Tips and Tricks Tuesday tomorrow, we will look at different blending methods and different blenders just to get that looked at and out of the way for y'all, because there's so many different ways to blend. There's the rub method, there's the um, petroleum jelly method. There's, so many different ways to blend. I'm just taking off any of the excess here. All right, so there's our little fella done. It's very cute. It did really well for these pencils. I really like the fact that they are quite centered. They do have a very, very thick core. I'm going to switch you over to the other camera so you can see better. So they do have a really thick core, as well as a very nicely centered core. There are a couple of them that seem to be off center a little bit, but I think the thickness of the core makes up for that. There's not a lot of wood around it. So when you sharpen it, it's not taking off a lot of wood. So it gives you a really good amount of core to color with. And then next ones on our list, of course, are going to be the bronzeals. These ones are the Blick Studio. So let's put in what ones those are. So these ones here will be the Bronzeal Artist Edition, and we will be doing that next Monday. I hope you enjoyed this video. The comparison between all of them is pretty much the same. They all are a really wonderful set of pencils. They all have a great selection of colors. Of course, the Black Widows has the largest selection so far, other than the Arteza. Well, even the Arteza has only got 120 pencils. So far, the Black Widow has the largest selection of colors. The Arteza has 120. And both the Amazon, the Artfly, and the Black Widows, when you buy, or not the Black Widows, the Blick Studio, sorry, when you buy them in their tins, only have a 72 set. The Blick Studio, you can bring them up to just over a 90 set by buying the extra colors. But other than that, they're a wonderful set of pencils. They blend very nicely. They color very nicely. They are a nice thick core. They're well centered, and they sharpen very easily. So until next time, until tomorrow with our Tips and Tricks Tuesday, I hope you have a wonderful day and a fantastic week. All right. Well, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. Always remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Bye-bye for now.